Welcome to the Model Rail Replacement Podcast, helping you get to your onward journey. A friendly service that helps you get from A to B, or probably nowhere at all.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Model Rail Replacement Podcast. That's not ever, that's just for this season. I'm James, and with me is co-producer and host. Oh, hang on, I've got that the wrong way around. Host and co-producer. No, co-host and producer. I've done it again. That's a proper partridgeism in there. Hat hard on area. No, hat hard. I've done it again. I'm the host, and with me is producer and co-host Sam. Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very good. How about you?
Yeah, I think we've come to the end of the road here, haven't we, really?
For those at home, when you're listening to this, I've edited out 4 minutes of me doing my Muttley laugh whilst I've been laughing at James trying to introduce the show, and for some reason we didn't restart it, so we're keeping it in for this final
Keeping it in.
episode. I hope you enjoy that.
It's just can't be asked anymore. You can just listen to whatever. There's no one listening anyway. So screw you. Who are you talking to? People that aren't listening. So
To all of our valued listeners who are still there, I'm very sorry for James. James is having a very tired week. He doesn't mean what he says. We all still love you very, very much, and we will welcome you back with open arms when season 2 begins. If James hasn't been admitted by that point, James, how are you?
I've been watching a lot of Star Wars acolyte hate things on YouTube. They seem to be getting a lot of views, a lot of people in, and I realised that we have been doing this wrong. We've been too polite, too nice. If we're just mean, people will keep coming back. I don't know how it works, but it just does. I'm under a bit of pressure this week. I sort of self put on pressure, and I can say what I'm doing because by the time this comes out, the event will have happened. But some colleagues at work are getting married, and I'm invited to the wedding, so I've been doing their wedding present for them, and I thought it'd be really nice to get them a nice little GWR signal box and then put their name, Mr. and Mrs. On the signal box nameplate and put that on there, and that was be my little gift because they met at work and kind of thing, and he's really into GWR and model railway anyway, so I thought, be a good gift. However, me being me, I've left it to the last minute. I'd tried to find a ready to plant GWR box, but couldn't find one. So I'm building a ratio kit. And yeah, I've kind of left it to the last minute. So I'm sort of I'm on the clock to get it done. Sort of thing.
You can do it.
It's got a brick base and a staircase, but that's as far as I've got.
Nice. I've seen people build things in shorter time frames. There's absolutely no pressure. You've got this. You've absolutely got this.
I hope so, but I am a bit of a stickler for detail, and I'll get suckered in and go, "Oh, I should add this to it and add this to it," and I don't have time to do that. I don't even think I've got time to put a lever frame in it, which I really wanted to do, but we'll just have to see.
You can give that to them for an anniversary present.
That's a good idea. That could work. It's the detailing kit. How about you? What have you been up to?
So I was at Chatham show, fantastic show. So the organisers, if you are listening to this, or any of the staff who worked at that show, first of all, as a solo person operating a stand, not only myself but Danny from various multiple units who was right next to me, we were so looked after as solo people. They were fantastic. Lyndon and the team from Fairford Depot, especially shout out to Matt from the Slough Model Railway Club, and to Colin, who is also part of the Fareham Model Railway Club where Lyndon is from. A massive thank you. You guys looked after me to no end. You kept me hydrated, you got me coffee, and because there were 3 of them manning the layout, there was always someone going to get us food and snacks and stuff like that. So a massive thank you to Danny on one side of me, and then the Fairford Depot team on the other side. You guys absolutely looked after me, and I was very happy by the end of the weekend for it. So yeah, the show was fantastic. I mean, I had that annoying thing. If you've ever been behind the scenes at a show, me as a person, I do that sort of panic thing of, oh, the show's opening in 45 minutes. I need to be ready now, sort of thing. So I get everything ready, make sure everything's set up, and then I'm like, right, oh crap, it's 45 minutes. And I've done that thing where I've got there, I'm prepared, I'm ready. And I'm like, I didn't actually need to be ready for another 45 minutes. But the one thing I found is that I was trying to go around and look at layouts before the show opened, because very much from when the show opened to when it stopped, I was very, very busy. And all of the layouts still had covers on them at like 5 minutes to go. And I was a bit like, I can't look at any of these. So I got around to all the stands, sort of like the monorail traders. I got some absolutely outstanding bargains across the weekend, but the actual layouts, I didn't really get to see many of the layouts because they still had covers on them 5 minutes before the show was going to open. So I was a little bit like, oh, so I missed most of them. I got to see a few of them, but not enough where I had time to stand and watch and really appreciate what was going on. But it was a really, really good show. Other than that, I've been weathering a lot this week. I've just got a massive O gauge weathering commission out the door. That is going back to Patrick's Lane. So Bruce, the new owner, has he's been keeping me in the filth. Is that the right term? But yeah, that's made its way out. I have cleared a lot off my desk in the last couple of weeks, so I feel quite like accomplished that I've sort of just gone, right, I need to get all this gone. So I've been doing that, a lot of weathering, and it's meant that there's a bit of space freed up on my desk where I've done a couple of repaints, including my 455 that I'm doing, and lots of Bachmann Mark II coaches. I'm currently repainting those into NSE. They were all in. There was a period where there was Mark II coaches in BR green, and I bought loads of those really cheap over the last couple of years, and I've just resprayed them, ready to put them into Network Southeast, so that when they're running around on the tracks, they look half decent. So that's pretty much been my week. It's been a lot. I've done a lot. What about you?
That's a very busy week. Yeah.
I feel like most people do that thing where they go to a show and they come back and they're completely model railwayed out. But I sort of came back and I had like this revitalized feeling of, obviously I've had that funk of not being able to properly run my layout or anything like that. So I sort of thought I was going to come back and just sort of be flat and do it, but I've come back and done so much model railway over the last few days that I'm quite impressed with myself looking back on how much I've actually done. So yeah, but asking the question again before I talk more about myself, what have you been up to?
Yeah, no, as I say, I've been trying to do this signal box, but that's it really. Otherwise, I went to the Northampton District Model Railway show in Road at the weekend. It's a nice little show. Although this year there was, I think I can say I probably only seen 80 to 90% of the layouts that were there. But that's kind of, I think, one of the problems if you keep going to the same shows in the same area year in, year out, eventually you're just going to sort of get the collection, I suppose. But it was still a nice, pleasant little show. Picked up a few bits for the boys' layout because we're going to try and do a Minories style Engage layout for him. We're just on the lookout for a Pico Engage turntable at the moment because he has some of the older Farish models which don't have couplings on the front, so he's going to need a turntable to turn his engines around so they can go back out again. But yeah, otherwise I'm very pleased because I thought I'd missed out on the Scale Harry Needle Railroad Class 37 in the Tango Orange livery. So when they announced it, I think last year, I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. But because of the 66s I'd ordered, for some reason I decided I won't order it just yet. I'll order it next month or whatever. And then all the 37s landed here on the boat, and everyone started getting their 37s, and everyone went 37 crazy. And when I went back on the website, it sold out. And I was kicking myself because I don't know why I hadn't just pre-ordered, and I'll just pay later. Just pay for it later because they don't charge you anything. I don't know why I hadn't done that. So I thought I'd missed out. I put on the notify me when in stock. And then the other day, the email came through about 12:30 saying they're in stock, and their Instagram had told everyone about an hour before that as well. But unfortunately, I've been a night shift, so I slept right through that and thought I'd missed out on it. So I was like, oh, gutted, absolutely gutted. Looked on eBay just to see, and there was a few scalpers on there taking a few pretty pennies, shall we say, all these models, and I'm not prepared to do that. But happy days. I'm hoping that it may be because I ranted, but it wasn't really a rant, but I did put on Curioscale. It was very unfair that it announced that these models have been released at 12:30 when I was asleep after a night shift. So today the email came out at 4:15 to say there was a handful of models left, and I didn't hang around. And I dived straight on the website and managed to get myself one of their Harry Needle Railroad Class 37. So I'm very happy about that. So because I thought I missed out on that model. So yeah, that's pretty much my modelling for the week.
Nice. Have we had any news this week?
Well, it is the summer, and as we all know, it's a bit of a long period for modelers and model manufacturers out there, etc. But there is just one little bit of news I'm aware of this week, and it's Rails announcing an exclusive Bachmann 00 test unit Gemini. So this is the old Derby lightweight DMU that was taken in by the Rail Tech company, part of BR, and then painted into their very striking BR blue and red scheme. And yep, so Rails are now got this model all announced, I think today, in fact, £269.95 for the 2-car unit. I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure when it did run, but I'm sure it'd be a popular one, just from the fact that it's quite an unusual prototype, and it's probably one of those ones that gives you an excuse of running something that's otherwise out of normal service had long since stopped running.
Yeah, I think a lot of the test center stuff seems to go very well as well, because there was quite a big people really liked was it the 4TC set that came in the research team, because it was used as a Eurostar tester.
Yes, that's one of them. Yes.
Yeah, so I think those are the kind of things where I think if you have, well, they're like your Hush Hush and stuff like that. You have a fan base that really wants them, and I think it will be a case of we'll either see that reduced to £150 in the next 12 months, or we'll see it at that price for double that price on eBay. I think it could go either way on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Reading into it, it lasted until 1984, so there's an excellent excuse there for people to get that one if they're an 80s modeler. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for news. Probably move on to our next section of the show, I'd say.
Yeah, which is weird because we also, where we had that little fluctuation at the beginning where you had your midlife crisis on air, we haven't actually said what the special event for today it actually is. I mean, I'm sure the title's going to give it away, but what's coming up in the main segment, James?
Yeah, so for the illiterate out there that haven't got a clue what the episode is and just stumbled across our podcast, today we have very special guests in Tracy and Ian from Gaugemaster. So we've been talking in the last few weeks that we're going to do something a little bit different, and this is what it is. So it is an interview episode, but the interview is going to be slightly different in that we are asking different questions, because we don't think our usual standard set of questions will quite fit our guests. So we talked to Tracy and Ian about all things Gaugemaster.
Look at that! You see that there? The super shiny diesel loco that's coming this way. Yeah, I see it. Isn't it beautiful? So fresh, so clean, like it's straight out of the box. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but I prefer it to have a used look to it. In an ideal world, that would be nice, but I'm sure the owner doesn't have the confidence, skill or time to undertake such a job. Then why don't they just send it to Emperor's Path? Emperor's Path? Yeah. SBJ has years of experience in model railways and wargaming, the ability to meet your weathering needs, and works with you during the whole process to ensure the project is how you want it, not like it's come through a factory. Come on, that must cost a fortune. Not really. He offers different levels of weathering at really affordable prices. I've got my whole fleet weathered by him. My loco's got the full treatment, whilst my rolling stock just a dusting with the airbrush, and it looks really authentic. I might just get a quote. How do I contact him? You get him on Instagram at emperors_path, by Facebook, Emperor's Path, or emperorspathcontact@gmail.com. Emperor's Path Weathering. If it's not filthy, let's change that.
And we are back for our main segment of our last show. And today we've got something very special, because we have Ian and Tracy from Gaugemaster. Hello, Ian. Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello.
Hi, James. We're good, thanks.
So you are obviously Gaugemaster, and I mean everyone listening should really know who you are and what you do. But for anyone that's been living under a rock, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourselves and your business?
Yeah, so we're Gaugemaster, probably best known for our controllers. We've also got a retail outlet as well. We've been going since 1974. So obviously been a long time in the business. It makes us 50 this year, which we'll come on to talk about. Started off as a model shop in Bognor Regis and a model shop in Worthing. And then the opportunity came to buy a plot of land next to Ford Station, which is what we did in 1988, and sort of combined that with controller production under one roof. Yeah, and we've been going strong ever since. We're also one of the world's biggest model railway wholesalers and distributors as well. So many of the products that you buy in your local model shop would have been bought from us by other stores. And we represent some of the biggest European brands, such as Marklin, Fleischmann, Roco, Heiko, Faller, Knock, etc., as their official UK distributor.
That's very cool, yeah. And I have visited your shop many times because I have family in the area, and it's always a very wonderful shop to go into. And I do enjoy how much you've got there to look at and tempt me with. But we'll move on to our first question, which we always like to ask, which is, are you steam, diesel, or electric?
I think I'm quite a classic type person, so I'm going for steam.
Very nice. And Ian?
Well, I was going to throw in a joke about tracing an old boiler then, but I'm going to do that. That'd be unkind. Diesel all the way. Absolutely. 1,000,000%. Not even close.
I think that makes diesel the winner for this season with our guests. So I think the majority have gone for diesel, and I don't know. Maybe it's just our audience are just sort of the dieselers that like to follow us. But yeah, both are great answers, aren't they? Really. Not the electric. Then I mean, you're next to Ford Station. You get a lot of that passing by.
That's probably why we don't like them, is that all we see it all day are Electrostars. So yeah, electrics, boring for us. Occasional 73, but yeah, diesel all the way. Always a little bit exotic, bit exciting, and we love the noise.
I guess one of the things as well is you don't even have the 313s running outside Ford anymore for a little bit, for something a little bit different. You've just got the Electrostars now.
Absolute diet of 370s.
Same old, same old.
Although they have routed a stone train past us now about midday, so we all hang out the window and watch that go past.
And probably we've got Gatwick Expresses going past, haven't we, for some strange reason?
Yeah, they've put some of the red ones down here as well. So yeah, at least it's colourful.
That's a bit of variety, isn't it? It's nice to see something. So, as you mentioned, you make many products that I'm sure most modelers have at least one of your items within their own sort of model railway and that. What is your favourite product that you have produced over the years?
Well, and I would say this, it's actually Infinity. It's the one we're introducing in August. Reason being, it's the biggest project that we've ever undertaken. Obviously, our range of analog controllers are sort of tried and tested, but broadly speaking, it's the same recipe as it was sort of 40 years ago. This is an absolute step change for us. And the fact that we've developed it in-house, the fact we've developed it in the UK with UK design engineers, our own UK design engineers, and it's going to be made in the UK as well. I'm really proud of the team and how we've been able to achieve that. I think it's a really good product that's going to offer analog modelers in particular something very different.
Okay, that's very cool. And is this the product that you've sort of been promoting when you've been out at the trade shows and that?
Yeah, we've been showing it off at trade fairs and getting feedback from modelers and from other dealers as to what they like, what they didn't like. So we've been able to sort of, tweak it. Obviously, being masters of our own destiny in the obviously the source code is ours and it's developed by us. We can be quite agile and change things around. So yeah, we've been promoting that for a while. And the moment is coming in 2-3 weeks time.
3 weeks time.
Yeah, where we're actually going to unleash it on the general public. So yeah, we're really proud of what we've created there, and we're pretty confident that everyone out there will enjoy it too when they get their hands on it.
Sounds very exciting. And I look forward to seeing the finished product and how the model railway public reacts to it. Tracy, are the same, or do you have something else that you're keen on?
Probably I would be the same because it is such a new and an innovative, if I can say the word, thing. It's super exciting to see how we think it's brilliant, obviously, because we were launching it if we didn't think it was fantastic. I'm excited to see what the reaction is out in the big wide world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because your controllers have been like the mainstay, I think, of the hobby for such a long time. I remember as a kid, my dad had a load of old Hammond and Morgan, whatever they were, H&M controllers they were all right, but then he had your 4 controller. That was the main one for the layout, and that's the one I always remember as a kid playing with and running the train. So it's always been there, I think. So it's good to see the evolution of the controller, but still view guys sort of spearheading the lead on that.
Yeah, have you still got that controller, James?
I think my dad still has it up in his loft.
Good stuff. It's guaranteed for life. You'll never need to buy another one if you buy a Gaugemaster analog controller.
That's brilliant. I've got a double one that his friend's dad passed away, and so he sort of gave him a load of stuff, and he passed it on to me. So
Yeah.
it's on my layout. It's great. They are great controllers.
I don't think you'd go to an exhibition around the country without seeing Gaugemaster controllers.
No,
I
think
whether
right
it's
there.
an analog one or a Prodigy. In every single exhibition, there's always a few of them around.
Definitely, yeah, and just goes to show the popularity and the reliability of the product, doesn't it? So we move on to our next question, which what is your favourite thing about working for Gaugemaster?
I think I'm going to throw that over to Tracy because then she'll have to be nice about me.
It's a tricky one when you sit next to your boss. From my point of view, I'm quite lucky in that my job is very varied. Although my main job is logistics, so I organise stuff to come across the world in and out of us or sent back out across the world. But I have fingers in lots of pies where I do our social media. I can work in the shop, I can work in the warehouse. So I've got lots of strings to my bow. And also, I think from my point, when I started with Gaugemaster, 7 years ago, I think it was, I knew absolutely nothing about the model railway world, absolutely nothing at all. So every day is a learning day for me. I've learned so much and continue to learn every day about new things. It makes it super interesting.
Yeah, and Tracy's just talked herself into a pay rise there. I think it's much better than it had to be. From my perspective, I feel really privileged to sort of head up this place. And like Tracy alludes to, every day is different because we manufacture, because we retail, because we distribute, because we wholesale. No 2 days are ever the same. And because we're still a relatively small company, although there are 33 of us here, if we think something's a good idea, we can bring it to market pretty quickly, or we can change priorities, in a very, very tight time frame. If another department is struggling, we can put more resource into that one. So yeah, we all really do muck in. And as I say, I can be flying out to see European companies one weekend and then the next week helping out in the warehouse because we're so busy. It really is
absolutely,
yeah, it really is that sort of company, and we're like one big dysfunctional family at times, but it all somehow works.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm quite envious of that. I'd obviously been stuck in the same location when I go to work. I do miss that. In the previous life, I was paint and decorating. Used to get to go everywhere and to sort of venture out and do all these different jobs. So I can definitely understand that pleasure of, as you say, one weekend you're in Europe, and then you're in the warehouse and you're doing something else.
Variety is the spice.
That's it. Yeah, it sounds enjoyable, and I think that's what makes the day go faster and the work seem fun, I suppose.
Definitely, and also when I travel, I try to travel on public transport. Firstly, for sort of the green reasons, but mainly because driving is actually an absolute time sink. And if you're actually on a train, for example, the amount of good ideas that we've had whilst traveling on a train, because we see something out the window or we look at something and think, you know what, no one does that, or what if we could do that? It's actually quite inspiring. So yeah, as part of sort of work travel, it's, you could almost put it down as product development as well at times.
Definitely, I totally agree with you with that. It's for many years I had to drive to work, and recently the trains were retimed, and I can now take the train to work in the evening. Exactly the same. It gives you so much time to sit there and think about things. And I know I've sat there and come up with ideas for the podcast and have texted Sam about it and that, and vice versa. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Sitting on that train and just looking out the window, it really does give you ideas for in our case, podcasts, in your case, products.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally on board with that. We've kind of touched on this already, but you are in a unique location in regards to that. You are right next to Ford Station, and I know nowadays there's not many model shops that can sort of make that claim that they're right next to a railway. What is your favourite locomotive that's ever passed through?
My favourite locomotive that's ever passed through was 3 weeks after my daughter was born. And I popped her in the car and took her down to my place, or our place here, because a Deltic was going past on a rail tour, which is really unusual. And Deltics are obviously fabulous machines. So yeah, my daughter's first train that she ever saw or heard, she didn't have a choice in the matter, was actually a Deltic pouring past on a charter. So yeah, that's definitely the most unusual and favourite. Unusual because you don't see Deltics very often at all, let alone hurtling past Ford Station. And favourite because it was my first significant daddy-daughter moment. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
That's very cool. I like that. Did the products manage to stay on the shelves with the vibrations of the Deltic going by?
Yeah, they did. They're anchored down. So yeah, but yeah, you certainly felt it. It was amazing machines.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm certainly on board with. I'm not too different. I took my boy to the Swanage Diesel Gala when he was 4 weeks old. So that's where he got his first taste of sort of preserved railways and diesels. And he's quite often now. What ones did I see? When you saw 20 and we went behind some 73s. Definitely get them while they're young.
Yeah. Well, my daughter's now an achingly cool 19-year-old, so she'll be really embarrassed that I'm even discussing this now. So yeah, but she probably does not know it was a Deltic.
Very cool. And the same to you, Tracy. Is there anything gone by that you've ever sort of thought that's really cool?
Mine are the steam trains that go past. We don't get them often, but it's quite a treat when they do go through. When I first started here, they used to tell me how when something exciting went through, everyone would jump up at the window and have a look at it going through. And I thought, I'm never going to be one of them people that do that. But I've got on that thing, and I am the one that hangs out the window or hangs across the crossing, videoing something exciting that goes through.
Yeah, she's one of us now. She's been turned to the dark side. There's no coming back.
Move to the dark side.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I try and do at my place of work. Is you can tempt them in and get people to join us. And but yeah, I'm the sort of the same. My ears sort of can tune in and I'll recognise the noise that doesn't sound quite right, either if it's at work or at home. Like, that sounds different, and sort of he's diving out, and yeah, I want to see what that is. So I'm glad that you've been bitten by the bug, and
I'm disappointed in myself, if I'm honest.
I guess from a social media point of view, Tracy, that's handy for you that you've now been bitten by the bug, because effectively something fun coming past relates to making your job better or creating more interaction with those who are watching your Instagram and stuff.
Absolutely. And when something exciting is coming through, and luckily enough, although he wouldn't admit to it, Ian is a little bit of a geek, so he does know what's
very, very.
He does let me know when something exciting is coming through from looking at real-time trains. So yeah, I actually really enjoy running out and trying to get the right angle, or do I stand down the end of the platform? Do I hang over the crossing to get this one? There is times where it's there, sort of three of us have gone out, and one's at each platform and I'm hanging over the barriers, honestly, the people that are parked at the crossing must be going, what are they on?
So if you were to suggest one to someone, like one product from Gaugemaster or the Engine Shed, what item would it be? I suppose that's quite a big question because it depends what they want. But is there anything in particular you would recommend?
I would say that you cannot go wrong with a combi controller because it's a stalwart of controllers. It's proven reliability. Well, if it goes wrong, we'll fix it because it's
It's
got
kind of a gateway controller between train set and model railway.
yes.
So you'll get your typical train set, usually a Hornby one, maybe a Bachmann one, or a Graham Farish one. And the controllers are built at a price to get people into the hobby. And I think at the moment where you decide you're going to take it a little bit more seriously, you usually upgrade the controller, and usually it's with a combi, and we sell
Yeah.
thousands and thousands and thousands every year. So I guess the reason we like them is that usually when you sell a combi, it means you've got a new person in the hobby, which is obviously something we're all keen to do, is to get more people into it. So yeah, I think combi represents really that
Yes.
that sort of step into model railways from train sets.
Yeah, no, yeah, I like that sentiment there. It does. It's a nice feeling, isn't it? I suppose that's another one that's come to join the hobby and play trains, as we say. And yeah, you definitely can't go wrong upgrading from the basic train set controllers. They are really limited. I know that my lad had his frustrations with the Hornby ones when I built him a layout, just because they're cut out all the time with their short circuit protection and stuff like that. And I lent him as I say, we have the dual Gaugemaster control, and I lent him that one to put on his layout, and he was a lot happier running his trains with that, and things went a lot better. So I can definitely see why you would recommend that product.
Yeah, I mean, Hornby, well, just to make it clear, Hornby do a terrific job in bringing newcomers into the hobby. I mean, they probably sell more starter sets than all the other brands combined. And those controllers are literally designed to get people up and running, to experience the fun of running a train. And then, people will move sort of up through the gears and through the control systems as and when their layout grows. But yeah, it's always satisfying to see someone take the plunge and get into model railways proper.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Hornby do a fantastic job of getting people into the hobby. And so yeah, it's definitely always good to see when someone wants to stay with us. Right, so that's your recommended product, and certainly one I think is a grand choice for people to look into. Now, one thing I noticed when I come to your shop is that unlike many other model shops in this country, you have a vast collection of continental models as well as British models on your shelves, and there seems to be trains and sets from all over the world. Is there a particular favourite that you stock and sell?
What favorite country to travel in other than the UK?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love traveling in Germany. I have to say, I love the country. Apart from during penalty shootouts. Yeah, it's just a diversity of things that you see. The freight is incredible. I work a lot in Germany, and if you stop up at somewhere like Würzburg, every 10 minutes there will be a freight train going through, and they are long, they are different, it's mixed loads, there can be cars, there can be iron ore, there can be steel, there can be literally anything. And it's absolutely fascinating to watch, particularly if you're fed on a diet of Electrostars like we are here. And that's just the freight stuff. And then you add to them the ICE units and all the regional trains as well. It's just a fascinating place if you just like watching trains go by, Germany's a really, really good place to do it. Having said that, I've also traveled in, last month I was in Denmark seeing Hellion. Got to travel on the Danish network again. That was fun, and done the same in Italy, done the same in Spain, done the same in France. So yeah, you do love them all. Switzerland, obviously, but yeah, for me, Germany's my favourite railway country other than the UK.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, as we just released an episode a couple of weeks ago where we talked about continental modelling, and I thought Germany's on my to-do list. It's I know I want to go see Miniature Wonderland, and I do want to see the train set because in watching them on YouTube videos, I don't think it's quite as good as probably standing by the trackside and watch them go by. And I take it, if someone wanted to model that, you have all those sort of products available where they can get started in a hobby that isn't British.
Absolutely. Probably after British, German or Swiss railways are the next most popular ones to model. We think people go over there and they enjoy it and they want to replicate that at home. And there's a surprisingly large number of people that either run quite eclectic railways or will model the railways of Germany, Switzerland, and even in America, obviously, and even Japanese railways have got a bit of a following as well, but in N-gauge. So it's we can cater for absolutely anything. Almost anything you see on a railway anywhere in the world, we sell a small version of it.
That doesn't help me because I see a train and go, "Oh, I'd like to model that." So I do find it difficult in your shop sometimes to resist.
That's the aim.
Exactly. You don't want me walking out and not buying anything, I suppose. So I'll move on to the next question then and ask you. I know you're talking about your brand new controller that's coming out. I suppose the next question is, if you're going to make an item in the future, what would that dream item be?
We've got loads of ideas, things that we want. There is one that's quite close to my heart, and I can't tell you what it is because it's commercially sensitive.
Ooh,
I know that's a really horrible politician thing to say, but yes, it's. I think if we make it public, then we might get gazumped by somebody.
Someone might steal our ideas.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Yeah, sorry to be evasive, but yeah,
that's all right. The important thing is that there's ideas in the pipeline. You still got lots of things planned for us, and that's I mean that's the most exciting news of it all is that when you see all these articles on the news that the hobby's dead because there's no Wally show or Hattons have closed or some silliness like that, and everyone's saying it's a dead hobby, and then there's a business like yourself that's going, no, I've got this in the pipeline, I've got this idea, I want to do this. I think it's really positive for us as the modeler to know that there is still a future to this hobby, and we're not to worry, it'll still be around.
Definitely. I mean, I think just to go slightly off topic and onto that case, I think it was quite unfortunate that the Hattons and the Wally news came at almost the same time, and that did sort of set all the doom makers and the naysayers that look, the hobby's dead, blah blah blah. But if we look back over the history of model railways, these sort of events where a big retailer will close have happened at particular junctures. I mean, I remember Rail Mail, who were a very significant mail order supplier. I think they were based in Watford and Glasgow. In the 80s, they stopped trading. Obviously, the demise of BT's, the demise of Model Zone, W&H to a degree, and all these things go in cycles. Despite those big sort of setbacks at that moment in time, we're all still here. And there is just every so often a little bit of a market correction. So yeah, I believe the hobby is still in very robust shape. Plenty of new people coming into it, plenty of innovation, plenty of ideas, plenty of things to drive it forward, plenty of good people in the hobby steering the ship across lots of companies. And we all talk to each other. It's risk of being sexist, it's a very gentlemanly trade in a sense that it's not particularly cutthroat. Obviously, we all want to succeed, we want to be the best, but we all get on with each other and we all want the hobby to be healthy moving forward. So yeah, I think that we're in a good place.
And from an encouraging new people type of scenario, we've certainly been doing what we can with junior clubs that are local to us, trying to encourage the kids to get back in, because that's what we need. It's like we were just talking about succession planning. That's kind of what we're doing for the hobby, is that we've got to do some succession planning to bring the next generation of hobbyists through. So we've been supporting local groups like Bognor Regis Model Railway Club. We've given their junior group some bits to model. A couple of schools locally have started up extracurricular model railway group, so we're trying to support them, because at the end of the day, we're not, if the next generation don't come through, we're not going to be here. So it's in everybody's interests that we look after the younger ones and try and give them the interest and bring them through.
Yeah, no, because I was going to ask that, because I notice at model shows there is definitely an increase in younger people coming to the shows and sort of looking at the layouts and that. And I was going to ask you, had you noticed that in the shop? Is there any sort of change there? And did you think that the younger generations are starting to become interested in this hobby again?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly, in a strange way, I think COVID's been responsible for that, in that we had a lot of people that were unable to go out. In fact, everyone was unable to go out, and that enabled families to do things together. And quite often that would be parents and their children doing practical things, whether it be model railways in our case, but you'd see it in other areas like baking, general craft, jigsaw puzzles, all that sort of thing. Model making, and that has the rebound from that has been that younger people have been more interested in it. And if you look at it a little bit deeper, because we do a lot of deep analysis into sort of general trends as well here. Traditionally, we compete for time with video games, and there was a massive acceleration in how it went from 8-bit to 16-bit, and then suddenly everything became amazing. Wii was a big step change, and then you've obviously got PS4 stuff like that, and the games got so realistic it was almost like being there. Obviously with VR, but in a way now they've kind of peaked. They can't get any more real than virtual reality, and kids are maybe stepping back for that and going for more tactile, hands-on, if you like, real world hobbies again. So yeah, it's a really interesting time to be in the sector.
Yeah, no, I think from my own experience with my children, I can't really speak for the eldest. She's a video gamer through and through, but my youngest will definitely put down the Nintendo and come and do some modeling. He'd rather do that than spend his time staring at a screen. So,
and what's really lovely for me is that if I'm at a dinner party and people ask what I do, everyone's interested in it a bit. It's not like I go, oh, I work in insurance, and then, oh, okay. You explain what you do, and everyone will say, my dad did that, my granddad did that, my mum did that, and they remember something, whether it be model railways or scale electric or building airfix Spitfires. So everyone's kind of got it in them, and it's down to us to sort of draw that out and turn an interest into a hobby.
Yeah, definitely. And I've always loved this hobby. I've always enjoyed it. I'm quite happy, spending my time working on something, creating something that you can then produce and you sit there and can be proud of. And you don't have to be the best in the world as long as you enjoy it. But, and the advantage of social media nowadays is that we don't have to sit in our lofts or our garages and our sheds all tucked away working on. And some people are like artistic masterpieces in what they can produce. And nowadays we can share it. And I think that's one of the sort of growing advantages of the hobby nowadays, is that we can all share our ideas and our love for the hobby and our hard work, and it be appreciated.
And I think it's the hobby is so personal. What I was to create on my layout would be completely different potentially to what Ian would create or what you would create, but you're just creating it for yourself. So it doesn't matter if that shed that you've put on there is a little bit wonky, because it's my layout, and if it gives me pleasure, then that's what the key thing is, isn't it? It makes me cross sometimes when you read on social media when people get critical of other people's endeavours, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if that class 73 has been sprayed pink with yellow spots. If the person who owns that is happy and wants that on their layout, then fair play. That's up to them. It's their layout.
Exactly. Yeah. My layout, my rules.
Yes.
That's rule number one, right?
Absolutely, isn't it? And it's all about perfecting your craft. And we all got, I think, one of the advantages of this hobby is it helps develop skills, and it's many various different skills. It's woodwork, yes. It's electronics, it's all that scenery making. I think I could say, and without insulting him, that my dad's scenery is not the best in the world, but his electronics and woodwork is far superior to mine. I'm pretty sure if we lived a bit closer, we could build a layout together. We could probably come up with a perfect product. And I suppose that's the advantage of the Model Rail Club, isn't it? Where people can get together and can put those skills together. But as you say, it's someone's layout, it's their hard work, and they put
their heart and soul into it, and that's what should be respected.
Yeah, and this is echoing what me and Sam said in one of our very early episodes at the beginning of the season. It's when we were talking about, just be nice, and support each other. and
Yes.
this hobby will grow. Cool. So we completely went off a completely different direction from that question.
We did.
but,
Sorry
we,
about that.
we digress there. We're very good at
absolutely.
digressing.
That's
We
it.
came to the points and ended up on a different route.
So we've obviously asked you to give away all your secrets, and you wouldn't do that. So that's mine and Sam's business plan kind of ruined for the moment.
But you can switch the plan, Paul. Yeah.
One of the questions, I suppose, there can be many unusual things in sort of. I'm thinking model railways, but obviously you sell more than model railways. You've got like Airfix kits and Skate Electrics, etc. What is the most unusual products that you've sold?
Well, we're probably about to launch the most unusual product that we've ever sold. Because it's our 50th anniversary, we have designed a wagon, which in itself is not very unusual, a celebratory wagon, but we are going to be launching a wagon pack. So it will have a wagon and a bag of coffee, the Gaugemaster blend coffee.
Gaugemaster Golden Blend.
Gaugemaster Golden Blend. We've got a local coffee roaster to create us a coffee, because who doesn't love like standing back and looking at their layout with a coffee in their hand?
I know Sam is definitely in that camp there. So he's
I've
So,
ordered
yeah.
12 bags already.
So we've created Gaugemaster Golden Blend, which will be with a wagon as a pack, and you can either get ground coffee, so it's ready to go into your whatever it is that you use to brew your coffee, cafetiere or AeroPress or whatever, and also beans.
That's really cool. Yeah, that is definitely a very unusual model railway product. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but yeah.
Don't pigeonhole us, James. Don't pigeonhole us.
So, but I like it. That's something me and my wife can enjoy, because she really likes her coffee, and I like model railways. So everyone's a winner with that product.
I was genuinely expecting you to turn around and say one of the knock models, because there's some very risque models that knock produce. And I remember seeing.
There are, but we understand this is a PG podcast, so
Yeah.
we intended not. We chose not to go down that route.
That's fine.
I was hugging.
James, we're not going down this route. We're going to stop it there.
This is a family podcast.
But yeah, no, I was the same as Sam. I was expecting something along the lines of the knock range of certain figures. But
just type N for knock 1595 into our website, and you can see them for yourself. Yeah.
There are people, but don't do
I'm
it
a
at
bit
work.
worried that he remembers that number off the top of his head, to be honest.
Well, what I get to in my office when the door's shut is purely my business.
I look forward to that. Then I look forward to seeing the van and the coffee. So that'd be very, very cool for people to keep an eye out for there. I'll move on to our next question and ask you. I suppose it's kind of a legacy sort of question, but if there was one product out of everything you've produced, what is the one product that you would like Gaugemaster to be remembered for?
I can't really answer that. In fact, can I be a real pain and not actually give you an answer in terms of it being a product? I'd like us actually to be remembered for our service, in a sense that something that we really, really value here is customer service. And as part of our commitment to our analog controllers is that if they conk out for non-customer reasons, we'll repair them free of charge. So I think that if in terms of being remembered for something, it would be for all those controllers that we resurrected and brought back to life to enable people to continue to use their model railways, almost forever and a day. So yeah, I think our customer service is probably what I'm most proud of, rather than a product itself.
That's a good answer.
That's a very good answer.
You're welcome. We do strive on customer service, and I don't think anybody compares to the service that we offer with the controllers. We've had controllers come back to us that are like 30 years old, and the guys down in the workshop have got their widgets out of the little box stored at the back of the cupboard and a solder iron, and a week later off it goes back to the customer fixed and raring to go again.
For free.
For free, yeah.
That's brilliant. That really is fantastic customer service. That's what I mean, like you say, an item that's 30 years old and you still, we'll fix it.
As long as we can still get hold of the parts to fix it, which I would say probably 99% of parts we can still get hold of, we'll fix it and send it back free of charge.
That's the analog range. Digital's slightly different because the technology in the digital equipment evolves so quickly that we can't. We've only got a finite amount of parts that we can keep, and then they change the bill of materials, and everything changes within the controllers, and we can't get them. So we that's analog controllers only.
That's what, but still, it's something to definitely be proud of. And I can see why that is your answer. And certainly customer service, I think, is one of the most key things, and it's one that I think we've all heard those horror stories of people saying that they've been to a certain model shop and the person inside was very rude, or that they weren't very pleasant. So when you've got a shop that you can safely and happily say, do you know what, I would recommend them. They are an excellent service. They've done this for me. They've done that for me. You can't beat it, really, can you? Because that means that they're coming back, and potentially other people are coming to you as well.
Yeah, it was one of my main priorities here when I came in, was that I remember seeing the film High Fidelity, and you had these sort of record shop owners that were laughing at the person that came in and asked for a Lionel Richie record. So I wanted to sort of stamp out any snobbery that exists if you had a newcomer or a beginner in. And the thing that really did it for me was when I driven in the morning, and I saw a family arrive, and Mum and the kids stayed in the car while Dad went into the shop. And I thought, we've got to change this. We want all of them to come in and see and experience things, and not feel that it wasn't an environment that they could enjoy as well. Which is why, we invested such a lot in fittings and fixtures and making it a clean, friendly environment with lots of things to try out and do, because we want it to be for everybody. Unfortunately now, when I see people walking up and down the pathway to the shop, generally it's the whole family, and you see very few people sort of, hiding out in the car, waiting for their partner or their friend or their colleague to return.
Yeah, because I think it's been a couple of years since I've been to your shop, because I haven't been that way in a while. But I mean, remember the last time I went in there, you've got there was model railway right at the entrance for people to see as soon as they walk in. Then you've got your demonstration layout in the middle of the shop. I mean, you may have changed it around since last time I went there. And then you have is it the Marketing My World, I think, was out.
Yes.
Yeah, the My World table.
Yeah, and my daughter was straight over there to play with that, and she's not really into trains, but she was very happy just to be over there and just playing around with it.
The My World range is a phenomenal range for the littler ones. If you've got sort of like, I don't know, 3 to 5 year olds or whatever, something kind of that end of the age scale, they're a phenomenally reliable and fantastic. They can be lobbed across the room in a fit of temper and they'll bounce. They're a great range to start people out on, start the little ones out on.
It's a really good Christmas or birthday present.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with Martin 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and we were looking at whether there was the possibility of a British My World set. So we're in discussions there as well. Hopefully we can get that one over the line.
You released a secret?
Yeah, I've just released a secret.
That's really cool. I like that. Yeah, because I thought, I mean, as I say, she sat there and had a look at it, and you looked at the range of products, and it was it reminded me of when I was a kid, of the Tomy range of products they used to have, like hundreds of them, and like you could load the wagons and stop at the different stations and all that. And it's kind of that ideal train set world, isn't it? All on one accessible table. But yeah, a British one that looks sounds very interesting, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with.
No pressure there, Ian.
No
Just
pressure. Yeah.
put yourself in the frame, my friend.
If it doesn't come off, at least I get to travel on my favourite German trains when I'm over there.
We're coming to the end of the interview. It's been absolutely delightful talking to you both. And I suppose this question is, we've kept it to last because I think it's an important question for those that are out there. And we know at sort of the Model Rail Replacement podcast that our majority of audience are already into railways, but we're hoping that we're attracting a few other people into it and that. So if there was anyone out there listening right now and they wanted to start in the hobby, what products from your store would you recommend they start out with?
I think the correct answer is anything they like. As we said before, my layout, my rules, whatever it is that gets you into this hobby, it really doesn't matter, because the longest journey starts with the smallest step. So whatever that product is that starts you off, it's not for us to tell anybody what that product should be. You come in here, you make your choice. And
it could be that
product.
Someone wants a particular loco that they like, so we will help them with what they will need to do to buy to run that loco, or alternatively, it could be that someone has come in and seen a load of scenics, and we can help them sort of build a little bit of to start them off with the building of a diorama. Lots of people's interests are so different. From some people, obviously, like the trains and running trains, whereas some people, the scenics and telling the story in a picture with their diorama. So it would be hard to say, because it depends what spurred you to walk in the shop to buy your first thing and what that first thing is.
One of our first questions when people walk into the store, when they say that I'm thinking about, building model railway, is how do you want to, what do you want from it? It's never for us about, oh, well, then you must have the most expensive digital system and you must model British and you must do this. It's really about establishing what their motivation is, what their loves are, and sort of crafting it around that. And as you say, there are people who really enjoy the topography of it and the scenic side of things. There are other people that enjoy prototypical operation. There are other people that just want to see trains going round and round and round, and then we recommend products that fit in with what it is they want to achieve, rather than whatever happens to be the most fashionable thing, or the thing that convention dictates is what people should want. It's, as I say, your rules.
Whatever you like and whatever you want to do, but if they come to you, they can more than likely find it in your store.
Absolutely. 20,000 different products. we only know that because we counted them all on the 30th of June.
I think people don't realise how big we are in respect of when you walk into the shop and you see the shop. I know Sam came and visited us the other Friday, and I sort of brought him up to the office. We were going into the little office to have a coffee and a chit chat. And when you went into the warehouse, you were like, blimey, I didn't realise you had that sort of amount of stuff here, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the space that you guys have behind the scenes is insane. Like, because it's weird, as you put, because I arrive by train, and you pull up in the station and you see the back of it where it says the engine shed Gaugemaster, and then you've got that sort of distance between the front and the back. But even walking into the shop feels big but not overwhelming. I was blown away when we went out back. It was, I mean, I said in a previous episode, I couldn't believe how much space you had solely for continental modelling, let alone for all of the other things as well. And I think that's what shocked me the most. And I think I've said to Tracy separately, like, if you did like a little video tour of the background and stuff like that, I think people would lose their minds as to how big the place would be. But yeah, it's huge, so big.
When we do this social media meetup on the 11th of August, I don't know how many, 5 people could turn up, 5,000 people could turn up, I don't know. But I'm happy to take people off in small groups to have a little wander around, take them back, do a backstage tour, so to speak, in inverted commas, and come upstairs and you can see the depth of what we've got and how we operate.
I mean, that would be quite an unusual opportunity, because I've got kind of a strange Willy Wonka view to things, in that I quite like the idea of not letting daylight into magic, in a sense that I really, people come to us because we sell them sunshine, we sell them their hobby, they choose to come here, they don't have to come here. I think sometimes seeing behind the scenes sort of debunks that kind of, it's kind of like the Disney effect, isn't it? Where it's it kind of diminishes the fact that things do just come out of brown cardboard boxes rather than beautifully presented in cabinets, and the act of picking things and putting them in a box and sticking them on a van's actually quite dull. So it's a really good opportunity to have a look around backstage, because we don't do it very often.
That'd be very cool. So, as you mentioned at the start, it's your 50th birthday this year, and as well as the 11th, you have a few other events going on through the month of August. For those listening, would you like to just tell us what you've got planned?
We've got something going on, a major event going on every Saturday throughout August. So on the 1st of August, we have the launch of the Infinity and the launch of the 50th anniversary month, where we're going to show off the Infinity, and it will be the first time that anybody can actually buy it. It will be nowhere else on that 1st of August. It will not be supplied to anyone else. You can only buy it from us for, we're doing it for a time scale, I don't know,
No,
for a little
just
short,
for the weekend.
just for the weekend.
Yeah, so anniversary August is really significant for us. So what we do is we're hiring a marquee, putting it up on the front lawn, and then we're going to run events in that marquee all the way through the month. And as Tracy says, it debuts on the 3rd of August, which is a Saturday, where we officially launch the 2 Infinity systems. That's Infinity Analog and Infinity Digital. It will only be able to be bought from us on that day, because we'll be shipping them to the trade on the Monday, and they'll start getting theirs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc., etc. So that's the first, if you like, weekend event. And the next weekend is Train Trade on Saturday, the 10th of August, where we are inviting some of our friends that specialised in pre-owned, second-hand, some of the more things that we don't tend to touch as an organisation.
We have that one's my little baby that I'm organising. I know more about that one. We've got 10 different stall holders, so to speak. We've got some traders. We have some eBay traders. We have a gentleman that has a huge marketing collection and wants to slim it down. So just an ordinary customer that just wants to slim his stuff down. We've got someone that's specializing in die-cast buses and magazines. So all of it will be pre-owned. So that is the day to come get yourself a bargain.
So it's like a little Gaugemaster swap meet.
Yes.
As well, so that's cool. And then on
And we'll have a store as well with some of our stuff.
And our shop will be open
Yeah.
as well. And you might be able to buy some coffee. And then Saturday the 17th, it's not Rowers, but we've got the GM Motor Show, which is a scale electric event, or slot car racing as it should be called. So you can come and pit your wits having a race on some of our tracks that we've got up there and buy some starter sets at bargain prices. And then on Saturday the 24th, we've got the Ford Festival of Railways, so our own model railway exhibition, again in that tent on the front. It's all free to enter, so you get the opportunity to see a load of layouts and sort of draw some inspiration from that. And then during the week, we're using the space to do what we call Knowledge Base Live, which is where we run a series of workshops with our own in-house experts. So there'll be some scenic modelling seminars, some digital railway control seminars, as well as inviting selected manufacturers down as well for specific days. We've got Hellion coming down on Wednesday the 14th.
And on that day, the lovely Sam will be coming and is going to do weathering demonstrations, aren't you, Sam?
Yeah, so we've got Sam doing his weathering, and we're also going to open up, because we are the UK's agents for Hellion, and therefore we look after all their spare parts, and we will have them all out for everyone to have in a rummage and make us an offer for any of the old bits that they need to either scratch build something with or modify their existing Hellion fleet. And our in-house sales Helgian spares expert will be on hand to help you decipher what's on all those thousands of sprues that we've got. So yeah, a really, really good program of events for August, and we're looking forward to seeing as many people as possible. And all the events are free.
And as I said, on the 11th of August, we're having a social media meetup, which basically we've got the marquee out there for the whole month. And on the Sunday, it was kind of sitting there doing nothing. Lots of us chat to our online friends. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to sort of provide a space, a dedicated space where people can come along and meet up with their online friends, because at the end of the day, you can chat trains with whoever you like. But the passion of your online friends, they'll share the passion. You can talk to your husband or your wife or your children about what interests you about trains, but they sort of kind of glaze over and go, that's nice. But to chat to your online friends face to face, bring along, do a bit of show and tell if you want, bring something along that you think you've modelled really well and show it off. And basically it's just a space to have a good chat with people and a coffee and perhaps a cake.
I'm very disappointed. I unfortunately can't make it due to work commitments, but it sounded like such a great day out. And as you say, I mean, it's probably one of the reasons me and Sam did the podcast, just so we can just talk trains to each other. People actually, like you say, have some knowledge and actually care, rather than people that go, yeah. So
yeah, well, it's nice to sort of connect a community like that, and people are already able to interact in the digital world, and we're able to provide a platform that month to do it in the real world as well. So,
and you never know, if it was to turn into a successful day, perhaps we'll do it
Yeah,
once a month, once every 6 weeks. I don't know whatever. It's never been done before. It was a brainchild idea of mine that thankfully I come up with these ideas and Ian goes, yeah, just go do it.
Not all of them.
That's it.
And we'll just see what happens. I thought it would be a good time for people to meet like-minded people and chat.
Definitely. I think it sounds a great idea. I think all your celebrations sound wonderful, especially the model rail related ones. I think the trade one and the show at the end of the month sound very exciting. And yeah, so people listening, get yourself down to Ford, have a look around Gaugemaster, and as we say, make a day of it. Have a little look around Arundel as well if you're about and about.
Yeah, super quickly. If you go onto our website, there's a big bit there about anniversary August, so you can see exactly what we're doing and when we're doing it and the timings of it.
Okay, before we go, I've got one more question. What's the next model that's going to be put on the fence?
None, if I had my way.
Yeah, I had a little brainwave one day and thought when that class 73 coming, because obviously it's at O scale, I thought, am I going to display this properly or how am I going to show this off? We didn't have any O scale rail up. And I thought, I know, I'm going to put it on the fence and make a video. Actually, Ian was off traveling to, I think you were in Helgen or something. So I made a little video of around the fence and it's kind of become a thing now, isn't it?
I was in Dortmund. I'll never forget the day when
Oh.
I saw arguably our best ever model.
Yeah.
So I believe that Class 73 is the best thing we've ever made in terms of a ready-to-run model. It's absolutely beautiful. And I had quite an interesting, grueling meeting out there about other things, and then quickly checked my Instagram to discover in my absence, my glorious brethren have decided to precariously position our finest model on a fence.
Yeah. Of course, the stir.
I think a lot of people's hearts were sort of in their throats when they saw that photo. But
yeah, and from the comments that we got, everyone's going, "Oh my God, how can you put something so expensive on the fence?" But at the time, I was like, "Yeah, it's a lovely day. It's all right. I'll put it on there and go around with my video." But yeah, in hindsight, I should have perhaps put something on the floor because it is a concrete floor at the one side of the fence. Perhaps I should have put some cushions or something down there.
I didn't know you hadn't. That makes it even worse.
Oh yeah. One day I'll get all our Helgen spares and scatter them around the bottom and take a picture and go, I tried to do an Instagram post, look what happened. And then run.
and you kit built Class 73. Yeah.
Ian, Tracy, it's been absolutely delightful talking to you. Many happy returns for your birthday, and hopefully we can talk to you again in the future.
Definitely. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's been lovely.
No problem. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. So yeah, we're going to take a short break, and me and Sam will come back.
This world we live in is a wondrous and fascinating place. We stand on the brink of greatness and a chance to make a real difference in this world. Two people who are not making a difference in the world are James and Sam. So great are their egos that you can now support them on Patreon from $5 per month to just show your support. You too can watch the model railway world burn under their narcissistic natures. Head on over patreon.com/Model Rail Replacement Podcast.
And we are back for one last time of this series. And that was our interview with Tracy and Ian from Gaugemaster. And we'd like to thank them very much for coming on the show and talking to us about all their exciting plans and their birthday celebrations. Just to remind you, Sam's just got a few more details just to keep you informed. Sam?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot going on at Gaugemaster, but there's two events that I personally want to tell you about. Now, if you do want to know more about the other events, you can go on to the Gaugemaster website or any part of Gaugemaster social media to find a little bit out about it. However, on the 11th, as previously stated, there is going to be a social meetup. Now, the idea of this, I think, it's been a little bit lost in the waves with some people, thinking that it's like this weird thing where it's like a meet and greet at Comic-Con with me, Danny, and Pete, and that's not what we wanted it to do. So the idea is that it's meant to be a situation where everyone can just sort of gather at Gaugemaster, somewhere where you can sit and chat. There's trains available if you need it, but you can sort of meet up with like-minded people. There is going to be a charity raffle on the day, which is something new that hasn't been announced until now. And there's some absolutely fantastic prizes that are going to be in there with memorabilia from the Southern locos that operated in the area. There's also a Hellion 33 in the raffle. So if you love a raffle anyway, the fact that you could win a Hellion 33 in there is pretty special. And there's going to be so many other little bits and bobs in there, little trinkets that you can pick up. So if you do want to come down, we're going to be doing the raffle about 12:30 on the 11th. And there's lots of bits that you can pick up there as well as just sit, have a chat, have a chinwag with me, Danny, and Pete, and anyone else who decides to come along.
They win a model rail replacement podcast coaster.
Oh, there's definitely going to be. I was contemplating putting a set of 4 in there, but apparently that then makes it feel like they're not as valuable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 tickets, but cut it in half. So effectively, you need to hope that you win both halves of the coaster in there as well. Also on Wednesday the 14th, remember that it is going to be the Hellion Day at Gaugemaster. Now, I have been very kindly invited along by Hellion and Gaugemaster to do some weathering during the day. So I will be doing my usual weather whilst you wait service. If you do want to come along on that day and bring some stuff, I am doing it a lot cheaper than I do in normal life because I'll be set up ready to go for the day. Likewise, if you can't make it to Sunday the 11th and you want to come along and just say hi, I will be there. There's lots of things you can do. You can get there by rail, you can get there by driving, and if you want to make a day out of it, Arundel is beautiful, and that is just a little bit up the road from Gaugemaster's HQ. So that's all the bits that involve me regarding Gaugemaster. So moving on, James, we've got our usual wrap up for the show for one last time this season. Take it away.
We have indeed, yes. I was just having to think though, because it's the end of the show, the last season. You know, everyone likes to, little reminiscing or clip shows and everything. And I was just sort of thinking, what's been your favourite part of the podcast over the last 20 weeks? So I've thrown you on the spot there. I know that, but
no, but I like the question. I really like it. I'm gonna come up with 2 answers. One of them is quite cheesy, but it is coming from a genuine place. And then the other part is actually something that has been a massive part of this entire series. So the first one, sitting down and recording with James has been the highlight of my week every week for the last 20 weeks. It has been so fun to do this podcast, and the feedback that we've had around it has been really great as well. And whilst we're not doing this because we're expecting that we're going to be able to give up our day jobs to do it, getting feedback to know that people are listening and appreciate what we say has been amazing. And Chatham completely cemented that, because I had people who we get a lot of people on a Monday morning who share the podcast. I had people who I've never met before, never heard of, no social media tag to go along with it, come up to me and say how much they appreciated the podcast. So if you come up to me at Chatham and you said that, I don't think you realize how much that meant to me, solely because you weren't someone I know who you were. You were just someone who listens to this podcast and told us that you appreciate what we do and you really enjoy it. The funny thing is that I also got told quite a few times at the weekend that no one can actually really work out which one you and I are. And I found that hilarious, because I always think that you're the posh one.
I'm the posh one.
Well, I mean, just blowing smoke up your ass. But it was I just found it funny that they can't tell us apart, which to me is baffling.
No, you did tell me that the other day, and I did find that quite amusing, because obviously you're from the Portsmouth area, and I grew up sort of Midlands and around Bedford, so I thought that would be a good enough separation of accent. But I don't know, maybe I've lived in Oxfordshire too long. It's
yeah, you live a little bit too far from the Salisbury curve. The other thing that I've loved about the podcast has been the overarching O-Gauge talk, which we have pretty much on almost every episode. O-Gauge has been talked about, and it's all been talked about. Oh, I do O-Gauge and I love it, or I'd love to model O-Gauge, but I don't have the space. But it always comes back to everyone wants to do something with O-Gauge, me included. Like, I'd love to do O gauge, but I just don't have the space. But it's the fact that that has been the underlying story arc throughout this entire thing, as well as me, James having to do many apologies, me offending the Steam community. O gauge has just constantly come up during this season, and I think it's been really good because I didn't realize how many other people want to do O gauge, and this season has completely shown. We just wish we had more space.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's definitely the most common theme. And I think my favorite answer was when we asked all our guests what their favorite gauge was, and Tris, when he says it's O gauge, even though he doesn't have an O gauge layout, that's his favorite because he'd love to model in it.
Hmm.
And I thought that was such a great answer because, yeah, do you know what? It probably is my favorite gauge thinking about it. I love watching it. I really appreciate it. And I would, absolutely love to, like I say, if I had the space, the time, and the money, an O gauge layout, probably Southern Steam. I think that's my biggest temptation. That's the one I seem to be drawn to the most when I go out the shows. It's always looking at those bullies in O gauge. And I think, yeah, I'd like one of them.
What about you? What's been your favorite moment of the past 20 weeks, 19, however you're looking at the episode count?
I'm the same as you. It's the feedback, isn't it? The people coming to you and saying that they enjoy it. They really like listening to it. As you say, the various shout outs you get through Instagram. And it's not so much because it's an ego boost or anything like that. It's nice to know that you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling that we put all, because we do put a lot of hard work and effort into this. We haven't made a single penny so far from it, unless you've been doing anything behind my back. But
Always.
but yeah, it's completely a labor of love, completely voluntary. That quite possibly could result in it's just me and you having a chat every week and no one's listening. And while that's quite the pleasure to talk to you and have a chat, it's always nice to know that some other people are quite happy to eavesdrop in and get some pleasure from our conversation. So
yeah, the phrase that got uttered a lot, which it was one of those things. It made my weekend for the reasons I wasn't there. The amount of people who said, "It's my Monday morning commute. It is my Monday morning. It sorts me out for the week." And that's so nice to hear. So nice to hear.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good thing. Yeah, when people are looking forward to the Monday morning to hear the episode. Yeah, it's a nice feeling to know. And hopefully we will be back for a season 2 and making people's Monday mornings again. But till then, it's a little bit of a summer break to have, and obviously with the very slow news coming through, there's not a lot to talk about, really, is there? No, I suppose we should just talk about the last usual things we talk about. This is our social media shout outs. Do you want to go first this week, or shall I?
I'll go first. So this week, a nice small channel I came across recently. I really appreciate the videos. Yeovil Central Model Railway. I've only got 510 subscribers, but it's a Yeovil-based layout, a lot of BR blue with a little bit of a mix either side of it on there as well. Just fun. Like I like the whole narrating all of the trains that are running and passing through. That's quite nice. But if you get a chance, sit down and watch that because it is a really, really nice little channel. Yeovil Central Model Railway.
Yeovil Central. I do believe I follow that one. I think it might be one I sort of recently found. And yeah, looking at it on YouTube, I definitely do follow that one. So yeah, that's a good one to follow. For myself, I'm going to give a shout out to Mouldy Raspberry, which is not the best model railway name out there, but as I believe he hadn't expected to sort of grow to I think it's like 20,000 subscribers about model railways when he first put the channel together. So it's sort of a name that stuck. However, the name doesn't matter because it's all about the layouts, and it's got some absolutely stunning sort of Pennine-esque railways. And what I love about the videos is I believe they live near a preserved line, so they have the advantage they can go out and just sort of record the trains going by, and then they dub that over the top of the layout running. And so yeah, it's kind of sometimes you just sat there, they're like 10-minute videos of Blackfire or something coming in with a freight and just running around and pulling a train, and they're nice gentle little videos, and it's absolutely beautifully modelled and scenery. And I like the fact that he had one layout and then it's built like an extension. I think it's like downstairs, but because of the clever camera work, you don't know that the trains have been picked up and moved from one layout to the other. It just looks like one continuous journey.
It is very clever.
So, which is something I kind of want to do in the future, and maybe people out there might want to get on board with this. But I've always thought for a very long time is doing cab ride footage through everyone's layouts and then just stitching it all together so it looks like one long journey in a video, just passing through everybody's layouts. I thought might be a bit of a challenge, but I thought it might look quite cool when it's all finished. But
Yeah. If you can piece it all together, it would be lovely.
yeah, definitely. So that's a thought for the future anyway. In the meantime, I'll say the same to you then, Sam. How about your social media? If people want to find you, how do they find you?
So the best way to get hold of me is on Instagram at emperors_path. Alternatively, you can find me occasionally producing videos that aren't just the podcast on YouTube as well at Emperor's Path. Now, James, if people want to get hold of you, how can they do that?
If you want to get hold of me, then you can find me on Instagram as Western Signalman, YouTube as Western Signalman, or email me at westernsignalman@outlook.com. But don't forget that me and Sam also have a joint model rail replacement podcast Instagram account. Come find us there. Or if you want to email us, it's model rail RP. That's Romeo Papa at outlook.com. Well, that's it pretty much for season 1. It has been an absolute pleasure to put this together. Hopefully, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to listen. We will hopefully be back with season 2. Should be. We've got no reason why not. We've got some people lined up for interviews. So hopefully they're still on board and we can, almost say, brag a little bit. We think we got some big names coming, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see you all in season 2. So I've only got one more thing to say, and that's that hopefully we've been entertaining, informative, and have replaced your model railway, if only just for the last 20 weeks. I've been James, and with me has been Sam. God, that's a God. I don't think he'd shut up over the last 20 weeks.
What did you say? Your mic's still on.
That's it.
Recording stop.
This service terminates here. Please ensure you take all of your personal belongings with you.